Hello, hello. We are live and we are so excited to see you. If you're tuning in, give this a little heart, share it out with your friends, and make sure that you interact with us because we have been missing you so much.
When was the last time we were on live? Didn't we figure out it was like February?
It was February something, and it was crazy. So we thought we would come back tonight, just hang out, tell you what we've been up to, maybe talk about some things that we've been creating, and just enjoy our time with you.
I'm just going to share this to my page real quick, and then
that's what I am doing.
You'll have my full attention. I got to figure out how to do this.
So we are streaming live on both Facebook and YouTube tonight. We're using StreamYard. You must have shared. It went through.
Awesome. And I'll watch the comments on mine. You want to watch the comments on yours? And
yeah, duh.
Okay, cool.
See you. Oh my goodness. Love the hair, Tom says.
Yeah, Rena, tell them about our hair.
These are crocheted works of art. And let me tell you, they took forever to make.
And I did not make any of it. Like, all Rena. I guess you got theirs first.
Brandy's took about 4 months to get to her because I got lazy in between. You know, it takes a little while to create these things. But seriously, mine I busted out in a month, and I actually kept track of all of the time I put into it. We're looking at like 40 hours.
Wow. That's a full-time job.
But I love them. Hats are kind of my thing. So I'm excited. Right now I have been, Mark's daughter, my husband's daughter, is having a baby. So I've been making all kinds of baby things. I made her a little jellyfish because those are supposed to mimic the feel of the umbilical cords, the little tentacles on them. And right now I like to take breaks. That's probably my Taurus qualities, but I'm working on this little Lego baby cocoon. So
very cute. Rena makes amazing. Like, look, I have my Stevie cat behind me. That was my birthday present. Like, it is awesome having a friend who knits and crochets. Could you get the cutest little?
This is Binks.
Aww.
So I crocheted his eyes, and I didn't love the crocheted eyes as much as I loved Stevie's eyes. So
mine's a little bright. Let me turn my light off for a minute. Maybe that'll help. There we go. Nah. Yes, so my beloved Stevie, the orange cat in all my pictures, Rena made me a little replacement Stevie since I don't have physical Stevie anymore.
Definitely. And, we should talk about the glowworm yarn. Brandy, right. I should have pulled that out. It is put away, but I will pull it out and show it to you. It is so pretty neon green.
That's a good story, too.
Glowworm green is a discontinued Red Heart Super Saver yarn, and it's like one of the most coveted colors ever. So in these crochet groups, I'm like, I'm going to see if I can find some, just because I'm bored and need things to do once in a while. So I ended up finding some. I found 2 skeins of this yarn on eBay. Okay. and it's not like for sale. It's like auction. I'm embarrassed to tell you how much I paid for this yarn. It's ridiculous, but I won the auction. It was magical. And Brandy and I talked about all the things, like how this was going to change all the manifestation possibilities for us. I'm actually going to make us little glowworms like from the 80s and 90s with this color of yarn. But
it's already working. Like I don't know, Rena. We've been like really busy ever since you bought that yarn.
Yes, it's been awesome. And okay, so after I scored this yarn on eBay, then the spiritual meaning of a glowworm popped up, and it was all about being seen by the universe and just trusting where you are. And at that point, I was like, I was really confused in what I wanted to do, if I wanted to keep going forward with my business and, do all the things. I was just kind of at a point where I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. So here I am. We decided to continue forward.
Part of being a reader and a healer. We all hit that from time to time. It's just,
Yep. Well, and the last 2 years have just been crazy in the world anyway. It kind of brought us all to this standstill where we really had to look at exactly where we were. And sometimes it's hard to look at those things and decide to keep going with what you know in your heart is true, because it's hard sometimes. It's hard work to be a spiritual, magical creature all of the time.
Exhausting. Because when you're not working, you're studying. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking about, I guess, me. But there's just always, a lot of energy going out and not always a lot of energy coming in. It depends, like, how much you're paying attention to that and how much you're working on it. So,
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Yeah. So we just had to kind of, I had to kind of just trudge forward, move through, and it's been working out really great. So
you bought the yarn, and here we are. We're back on air.
We're back on the air. Well, I probably bugged you for a while. I'm like, Brandy, we should really do our show again.
Oh, I was ready. I was ready. May was a little bit busy, so we decided, okay, in June. So here we are.
Brandy went on 2 trips in May.
Yes. Yeah. I was on tour.
Brandy was on tour.
I had New York planned for my birthday. I love spending my birthday in New York. Like, to me, the most magical place ever. And I don't know. Then Paul McCartney went on tour, and I had to go see him in LA. So there you go.
That's right. That's right.
So Tom is saying he needs to visit because we
Brandy? Oh, there we go. We're back on it.
Okay. Hopefully it didn't like freeze on like one of the funny faces where you're like, Yeah, exactly. I'll have to watch the playback and see how that went. Yeah. Tom, we do laugh so much. Tom is saying he needs to visit because we laugh. That is so true. And then we'll get Rena, we'll fly her down, and we'll all laugh and go eat, because that's what me and Tom do. We laugh and go to restaurants.
Is Tom a vegan too?
No, but we're working on it, aren't we, Tom? No, my husband eats meat. So we sit there and eat meat together,
Oh, okay. Well, Mark could eat meat with him too. We'll see. I tell him he can eat meat, but then I give him a really hard time if I see him eat meat, because
I know,
because I can't. So
I know. Same thing happens in our house. Oh, Tom says we graze. That's true. We graze.
Definitely.
So eclipse season in Taurus and Scorpio.
That was interesting.
That was crazy interesting.
Yeah. So, okay. Somebody had told me to look back. I can't remember how many years. And I think you actually pinpointed it to look back at where you were, like, was it 2003, 2004? Was one of those years.
It was, and then also like about 9 years. So eclipse cycles, like a full eclipse cycle is like 18 years. but then every 9 years, the eclipses are hitting the same signs, maybe just kind of opposite, you know? So you want to look back 9 years and like almost, it's like 18.6 years. So about 19 years ago, which would be 2003.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So it was so interesting to me because I found myself in exactly the same position. I had picked up a part-time job as a caregiver, and it was the same type of work. I was seeing the same kinds of things, and I was like, all right, hold the phone. What is going on here? I mean, it was like, get out.
Rerun.
Yes, it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so you'll see similarities, you know, because those eclipses are hitting the houses on your chart. They're making aspects to planets. And so it won't be, well, I don't know. Like in Rena's case, it was almost the exact same thing. For other people, like it may not be the exact same situation, but there will be similarities. Like you'll notice the same kind of theme or, you know. Yeah. I felt like I had that too.
Yeah. I think the universe literally had to say, you were exactly right. The universe has to be very literal with me when I need to see something. I'm embarrassed to admit that.
I don't think you need to be embarrassed. I think a lot of us operate that way.
Well, hopefully I figured it out this time, right? Maybe.
So, yeah. Mine, this eclipse hit my 1st and 7th house. So there was themes with partnerships, about just me. You know, 1st house can be like the body. It can be health as well. So these eclipses hit as I was bouncing back from COVID. So there was, you know, in a good aspect, you know, there was some healing there. And that's when I finally kind of turned a corner. Not that I was really bad, but, you know, kind of
right.
Finally had no symptoms.
Right. Yeah, I think for sure mine was in career, and I don't know where else it was. You had told me I'm not good at filing this stuff in the right places. But I think mine was just all about realizations and what I really want to do with myself, and that I have things I'm working on that need that extra special attention because this is my path. And well, you know.
Yes. If I remember right, it was hitting like the creativity house for you. Is hitting hopes, aspirations, and certain planets as well. So yeah. I don't know. What about you guys out there? Like, did you notice anything crazy? Any, like, I don't know. Let our listeners, like, if you guys are like listening, comment like what themes. Like,
yeah, we want to know. We want to know.
Yeah, and that would have been in, you know, the first 2-3 weeks of May in that time frame.
Definitely.
Julie loves our hats, by the way. Thanks, Julie.
They are quite pretty, aren't they?
I wish my hair was really like this, but that's okay. I got a hat now that I can wear.
You know, they say that those with curly hair don't like it and wish they had straight hair. I don't know. Mine is so straight that I would like to just go like this some days.
Me as well. So what else has been going on? What have we missed since we've been off the air? Anything new? Anything in the news, or what big stories have we missed?
Well, there is that whole interesting story about what's happening at the Capitol. Although I'm not sure we want to dive into that totally tonight.
We should
let just have the hearings happening. I'm really curious to see what kind of footage they share with it, though, because there are. Yes, I was kind of listening before, and there was, I believe he was a police officer who was there that day. And he said, even what he knows that there is more coming out. So I think that'll be really interesting as it unfolds too.
Yeah,
to see what happens there.
For that, because the U.S.
We have the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff.
Yes, Johnny Depp. And guess whose birthday it is today?
Whose?
It's Johnny Depp's birthday, of all things.
Happy birthday, Johnny Depp!
We are talking about this, and it's his birthday. Fellow Gemini.
Okay, and I know I love Johnny Depp. I mean, as a movie fan, I love Johnny Depp. I guess I don't know Johnny Depp, so I can't really say I love Johnny Depp, but he's quite handsome. I will say that.
It's because he's a Gemini. Like, Geminis are handsome.
And that's interesting because we can see the two-sided pieces of Johnny Depp, right?
Yes, I did pull his chart. I don't think I can screen share, but like, we should talk about his chart. I can explain a little bit of what's going on. So one, he's a Gemini.
We should talk about his chart and what's going on.
Yeah, he's a Gemini. We know that because today's his birthday and we're in Gemini season. One thing, like when this trial, okay, I did not start out being fully immersed in this trial. Like, I was just like, whatever, I'm not going to watch this. And then my son started telling me things and I was like, okay, I got to watch this. So halfway through the trial, I started like paying attention and yeah, but I decided to pull their charts to kind of see, I don't know, the personality traits that we're hearing about. Like, are they in the charts? One thing that I found interesting is that Johnny Depp does have this Mars-Pluto conjunction. And so, it is a 6-degree orb, so it's not a crazy strong aspect, but it's, kind of in play a little bit. And so that will show a little bit of a temper, but it doesn't mean someone's violent, but it does show he also has a moon in Capricorn. He has a south node in Capricorn. So generally speaking, people who have this, because I mean, as we know, Johnny Depp will sue you for defamation, so I don't want to get sued. But generally speaking, people with these placements can suppress, not show emotion. Like the south node in Capricorn, typically these people are kind of raised not being encouraged to express. And so they hold back. And so this is kind of like where you can see he can kind of hold back, and then maybe.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. Like, yeah.
Like not be violent, but maybe like verbally lash out or have enough and take something to court, this kind of thing.
Sure. I was also, I'm trying to find the right wording for it, but maybe, you're talking about the Mars and the Pluto stuff. Maybe the transitions are really hard for him, like might be tender, and not knowing how to express that,
Yeah.
That's a little bit. What did you see with Amber? I'm real curious.
So with Amber, let me pull hers up. Amber, we don't have her birth time like we do Johnny, so we don't see what houses things are falling in. But she is a Taurus sun. She has a moon in Libra.
Why don't we have a birth time?
I don't know. Like, it's not public. Odd, right?
Interesting.
I would think she would have been one of these people that was accessible, but apparently she hasn't shared it, or birth certificate wasn't public. I don't know. But she has a moon in Libra. Typically a moon in Libra is someone who does like relationships, who likes socialization, depending on what's going on in chart, these people sometimes can be codependent and be very scared to be alone. So I don't know if that's a factor in some of the stuff that went down. Now, her moon is squared to Mars. So that can be very quick emotions, impulsive, quick reactions, maybe not always thought through.
Sure.
So we can see in both of them that they might have the potential to release unexpectedly sometimes.
Sure. And this is where we need to talk about, maybe instead of a soulmate, it's a karmic relationship. And
Right.
Sometimes with those karmic relationships, the best thing you can do to break that cycle is to leave the relationship. So
you're wanting to balance karma, right? It's not about punishment. It's not like you deserve this. It's about coming in this life and balancing. Definitely karmic or past life, whatever beliefs people have. But her Mars sits on his south node. So that's definitely some kind of energy that they're working on together. Her Saturn squares his Mars. They have a lot of aspects when you put their charts up next to each other that show a lot of challenges, and with the South Node, that's usually past life stuff. So I think you're right about karmic.
Very interesting. Definitely. That's really fascinating.
What's fascinating?
So somebody had told me
her birth time. I wish we knew her birth time, because those eclipses hit her sun. And the fact that she didn't come out on top in this court case. I mean, I'm keeping my opinions out, but I clearly took one side of the, but I'm just curious what's going on in her chart, because those eclipses hit her sun and she ended up not winning. And I don't know, something was going on there. So I wish we had her birth time, but.
Right. Yeah. Very interesting. So somebody had told me something the other night when I went to one of my mobile sessions, my mobile healing sessions. He said that as of recent, they're not putting birth times on birth certificates. It is only by special request.
Interesting. Now, I do know when you go to get your birth certificate, because I have to tell clients this, like, don't get the quick birth certificate that they spit out within like 10 minutes. You have to order the long form state issued one, which is one you have to send off for. Tom, if you're watching, he went through this. I made him order his birth certificate from the state, and he had to wait like a year for it. But I don't know about going forward about them putting on there or not. I haven't heard that. That's
I found that
nightmare.
I found that really interesting. I couldn't believe that they were doing that. So I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not, or if it was just a personal experience that they didn't have that information, or, I don't know. But he said, yeah, as of very recent. So if you're into astrology and you have babies, you might want to request that it be on there. I don't know.
Or make a good note of it. And another thing we find as an astrologer, multiple clients have had this, they come to a reading and they're like, my mother said I was born at this time. And you would think, well, yeah, your mom would know, right? Not all the time. Sometimes labor is very long. It's an ordeal. Or the mom has multiple children, and sometimes the memories get a little mixed up. I've had some clients multiple clients order more than one reading because they found out their birth time was wrong. So make sure it's documented somewhere. Somewhere.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Dinner time ended up in the middle.
Yes. So Tom, before he has his birth certificate, he's like, my mother said I was born around dinner time. And so we were kind of playing with that. He orders his birth certificate during COVID, so it took like a year and a half to get because nobody was working at the records department, I guess. And he gets it, and it ends up he's born in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Really fascinating. I love it. And someday we're going to talk about Tom's sister's story because I want to hear that story.
That was before we left off on our hiatus. That is an interesting story, and he's so generous to allow us to share it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That'll be on our criminal astrology night.
Isn't everything criminal astrology night? I don't know. I mean, I love podcasts. That's the only reason I get things done. You know, clean the house, turn on a podcast. Hang out and do nothing, turn on a podcast.
I mean, we want to say that's our life, but Rena and me have been so damn busy. Like we miss that life.
Yeah.
So tell us about your mobile session. You mentioned you were on a mobile session the other night. Oh, wait. Sorry, I got two conversations.
So,
what was the Halloween comment?
The mobile session?
Sorry, I know. There's a delay.
Oh, Tom said something about Halloween. Tom said something about Halloween.
What about Halloween, Tom? I know your birthday's not Halloween, although you are a Scorpio. I don't know. We'll get back to that while we're waiting.
Maybe he means share the story. Yeah, okay. So I was recently doing some digging, and I felt like I've been missing this piece, right? And so once upon a time before the pandemic, I used to have an office where people would come see me and get, Reiki sessions. They'd come for core synchronism. Now, core synchronism is really, really fascinating work. It is based off of polarity therapy and cranial osteopathy, and it's just a series of hand medicine. We literally palpate the fluid movement of your cerebrospinal fluid and feel it flow all through your body and use that movement to balance bones, muscles, organs, and energy currents in the body. So I had the opportunity. Actually, I've been really busy, but especially the other night I had like 2 sessions in one, and then I did a couple tarot readings at the same house. So, I mean, it was just an awesome experience. The energy was so good and awesome, and everybody loved their sessions and their tarot readings. And yeah, we had a blast.
That's something you're doing now. Like you're kind of getting back to...
Yep, it is. Obviously, it's something I can only offer my locals unless I happen to be traveling, which I'm open to suggestions. Hey, I'd come see you.
I need some work here in Austin, Rena.
Hey, I'm going to open up an Austin shop, Brandy. Remember that. So
that's right. We're going into business at some point. So
that's right.
Yeah, so that's awesome. What's... For all those who are on your mailing list, you had an email about the core synchronism today. That was today.
I did.
Yeah. My days get mixed up.
It's actually on. Yeah, it was on today. It was today. I put out a blog about it. It came out on Saturday. So I just sent out the blog today. It's an interesting read. It's really fascinating stuff. I highly encourage you to visit my website and check that out. So in the description of this video is actually mine and Brandy's website, so you can learn more about us and the incredible stuff that we do and offer people. So definitely go check out the blogs.
Yes.
I have my official birth. Okay, Julie says she has her official birth certificate, but it doesn't show a birth time. Why would that be? Why are they hiding this information from everybody?
I don't know. I know on a lot of states you have to actually order a long form, and it's different I mean, because you can have an official birth certificate, but the long form is something the state has to provide, and that's the one with the birth time a lot of times. So I don't know if that's what's going on. Like you can have one with the stamp on it, but it's not the long form always. I don't know.
So complicated.
I wish these things were public info, not birth certificates, but birth times. It would help me. It would just help me so much and make my life so much easier. Oh, it's in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Interesting.
So New York is one of those states, right, Brandy? Like, what's the deal with New York?
New York,
just
City.
New York City.
Well, yeah, I don't know what to say, but New York City, you cannot order a birth certificate unless you're the person, you know, the birth certificate's for, or if you're a direct descendant, or your name is listed on there as like the mother or father. There's some it's one of the areas that has the tightest restrictions. Of course, I don't go order people's birth certificates. I want to put that out there because it makes it sound like I do, but I don't. I mean, but that's just in research that I found out.
Yeah, you just know from your clients. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, because there are some clients too who want readings for people who may not be alive anymore. They just want to know more about their chart or their descendants. Like, tell me more about these people, you know, and so yeah. Or historical figures.
Very interesting.
Sometimes, you know, we want to pull charts on them because their lives are so well documented. They're wonderful to study and learn astrology.
Yeah. June 19th, 1974 is when Tom's sister passed.
Oh, Tom, it's almost the anniversary. So Tom's sister died in a very tragic way. And Tom had me pull some charts on it to see if we could get any added information about what maybe what the reasons were for the violence, or, you know, what his sister was murdered. So we wanted to look at the charts to see why, you know, what was the motive, what was going on in this person's mind and the reasoning they had. So that's where astrology can come in handy as well.
Interesting. And so, you know who was the perpetrator, obviously, right? Was there closure? Can you give us a sneak peek into that? I mean, there's never closure. Was this person convicted? Maybe is what I want to say.
Well, Tom will be okay with us discussing. It was a murder-suicide.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Wow. So, yeah, I don't know. That's such a sad situation because as far as do you get closure?
No. You probably never. I don't know because I've never been in that situation, but I'm sure that it's always, even if there is a conviction, it's probably never closure, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's deep pain for sure. And but Tom has news articles. Tom was young. He was about 5, I believe. And yeah, Tom's comment. He said he killed his son, killed Tom's sister, and then he killed himself. Yeah.
Wow.
And so Tom has news articles from it. So he was about 5, and he has the news articles that have a lot of detail in it for the time. So that's what we were using as well.
Very interesting. Yeah, we definitely got to talk about that. I know it's something we talked about and everybody was really interested, especially me, because I've been hanging on to these things. I need the story for my own closure.
We're going to do it. It's going to be criminal night. And yeah, criminal astrology is just so fascinating. It uses a horary astrology method, which I just did a year-long course on. I'm so happy. I got the certificate.
Congratulations on finishing that.
I mean, as a Gemini, that was a big deal because Geminis love to start things, but it was a year long of like constant study, and it's still something you study. But criminal involves that, so you're looking at charts, you're seeing what's going on. I've had clients come for these readings just to, like in Tom's case, get added information. I have had some people in missing persons cases. We use this branch to see, is the person still alive that's missing? Even if they're not alive, where can you find them? What direction should people look? It's a fascinating tool to use for those things.
Very interesting. I'm so fascinated by astrology. It's amazing to me. Just such a useful tool. Do you want to tell everybody what the horary? So I probably didn't even say that right, so I'm sorry if I butchered it. You want to tell them what that kind of a reading would be for?
Yeah, so it answers questions. Similar to like what you get a tarot reading for. Will I get this job? Should I leave my job, or should I stay? Should I move, or should I stay where I'm at? Is my missing cat going to come home? And it has to be a very deep, burning question. It doesn't work on just superficial. The person I studied under had the perfect method on whether your question was legit or not. He said, it's so funny. He was like, if it's not a question you would ask Yoda, don't come to Horary Astrology with it. It needs to be like a very I really need an answer to this, not just some whim of wondering something.
Yeah, really interesting.
So I offer the horary questions on my website. They're an emailed reading because I just need your question, and I pull my chart for when the time I receive the question, and then I just give you kind of a simple answer.
Fascinating. That's really fascinating. I love it.
And it can give timing sometimes as well. I've had at least, oddly, I've had like 3 readings in the past 2 months where someone has asked when a loved one is going to pass away. And I don't just take any question about death. I don't predict death, but in some situations, it's very important to know, like someone who's a caregiver, someone who is seeing a loved one just suffering and, wanting to know how much longer are we looking at this. So, there has to be a very rational need to know this before I would take that question. But these charts can kind of indicate how much time, or if it's a long-term situation, is it short-term, these kind of things.
Yeah. And that might even just be, planning for something special you want to do with the person.
Yeah, I had one of those too. The lady, her mom lived overseas, and she's like, I'm gonna go visit her at the end of June, but do I need to come now? And we looked at it, and there was a strong indication she needed to go soon. So she left, arrived, and it turns out she had to be her mother's advocate. Her mom was like dying in a hospital.
Wow.
And so she arrived, was able to advocate for her, and might have possibly bought some time for the person. The person's at home now with a much better quality of life. Long term doesn't look good, but
yeah. So, Brandy, that was our timer.
That flew. Flew by. So what do we do at this point? We got cards.
We got some cards. I just brought some simple crystal oracle cards, to give a sweet little message, maybe.
I love those cards. Like, I love when you post those messages on social media.
I love a good oracle card. These ones are nice. These are crystal cards, so they're going to tell you kind of where you need to focus your energy, maybe.
And I brought Spirit Junkie.
Oh, I love Spirit Junkie.
I love these for just a quick, like, give me a positive message. Like, especially in the mornings, like when you're drinking coffee, pull in one of these cards. Wonderful.
Definitely. Definitely.
So this is for everybody. I forgot to tell her.
Yep.
I'm drawing a card for everybody. Whoever's watching this is for you. And I hope it resonates in some way. Or any questions someone might have watching. My hopes are that these oracle readings will give you guidance, even if it's in a general way.
Yes.
I got called out.
What does it say?
I got called out by my card.
What does it say, Brandy? I can't see it.
Okay. I'm just like, I can't, like when the cards call you out and you're like, really? Like,
oh,
for everybody watching, not, you know.
Yeah, mine always do that. And I notice when I give readings too, I'm like, wait a minute here.
Like, it's not supposed to be about me. Yeah. So I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. Let's see if I can. Okay, it's really bright. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. There we go. There we go.
There we go. Ooh. Interesting.
Anyone who saw my rants on Facebook today. But I'm hoping I'm hoping that resonates with all those watching as well.
All right. So I pulled Sunstone. Strength, leadership, and benevolence. Sunstone is the gem for sacral leadership. It inspires you to take action and own your desires, prompting creativity and bringing energy to your ideas. You have pulled this card because it is time for you to take charge of your endeavors, whether they are creative, spiritual, or business related. Meditate with Sunstone to overcome self-doubt, fuel conviction, and live for your purpose with confidence. I got called out too.
Like, what the heck? Not supposed to work. Sunstone is actually one of my favorite stones. I love Sunstone.
Yes. It is also perfect for celebrating your place in the universe. Mm-hmm. So
I call it the happy stone.
It is. It is. It's a great stone, and it's really beautiful.
So there you go. I
love it.
That was amazing, Rena.
Yes. All right. Maybe next week I can tell you about a spooky house I visited this week.
Yes. Yeah. So next week we'll be back. And this was kind of a fun night back. Just kind of jump back in, talk a little bit about this and that. Sorry, as usual, the astrology took over. I stole.
Hey, no, we are literally just here to have fun, right? So that's what this is all about. This is all about having fun, getting to know each other, sharing some fun things that we've been doing. So no, let the astrology flow. I love astrology. I don't do astrology. I love hearing about astrology.
You do a little bit, like you know a lot.
I really used to pull it in and do some services with astrology. I'm not fluent in astrology like you are. I'm fluent in planets, but that's different.
That's still very good info and rich to share with everybody. So, all right. So next week, and then
it is.
Rena, before we sign off, tell everybody where to find you.
Oh, you can find me on Facebook at Holistic Healing Therapeutics, or you can find me on my website, holistichealingtherapeutics.com. You can find those in the description, by the way. So.
And find me at brandyburrowastrology.com or Facebook, Brandy Burrow Astrology and Tarot. So, all right. Well, thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Rena, for hosting tonight.
Woo! We did it. I'm excited to be back. This is a great turn for us. I'm excited. So, all right, guys, we'll be back next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful week.